Hey, what's up guys? Pallav here from nothingwired.com. Today we're talking about Sony's latest Alpha 68. This is their mid-range, or you can say premium entry level of DSLR. This is Sony's A mount camera, which meaning that this is a DSLR. It has a mirror. This one sits between the older Alpha 58 and the Alpha 77, and it kind of combines many of the features from either of those. So some features from the 58, the lightness or the small body and those kind of thing, the ergonomics, and then some of the features from the 77 like the autofocus system, for example. This one costs just under 60,000 in India with the 18 to 55 kit lens, and about, I think, just under 86,000 for the 18 to 135 Now 18 to 135 lens is far superior to the 18 to 55 but then of course budget plays a role. I do not see a price for the body only on the Sony India official site, at least. And in Sony UK site, I think the body only cost £480. Unfortunately, the A68 or the Alpha 68 was supposed to make its way to the US market, but I just checked it. The US Sony official site does not list it. It lists the older A58. Sorry guys. This mirror is translucent mirror technology, and Sony's been adopting this technology for long now. What it does is that it most of the light reflects from the mirror, but some amount of light goes through the mirror and hit the sensor. That mainly lets the camera shoot faster in burst mode, and that's why this one has one of the fastest burst modes in entry level premium segments, 8 fps, up to 8 fps. But what that also does on the downside is that it makes the camera darker to see through the viewfinder. It has the same Sony's trusted 24.2 MP sensor and 79 autofocus system, out of which 15 are cross type. You have a mostly plastic body, in fact all plastic body. It has a nice matte finish, does not attract fingerprints much, but it feels plasticky, the body. And what else? Okay, it has in-body stabilization, unlike the recent Alpha 6300. You can use the lenses which do not have optical image stabilization, because the body has it. So it can take all the lenses, all the alpha mount lenses. Either you have stabilization or not, and you'll get the stabilization because this one does have in-body stabilization. Also, it records very high speed video, high bitrate video, XAVC codec at up to 50 Mbps, not like up to 100 Mbps like some of the other Sony cameras, but at even 50 Mbps is really smooth and sharp. So those are the main features of this camera. Now let's talk about the body. As I told you before, it's all plastic and it actually feels plasticky, specifically the LCD part. It has this nice matte finish, so it's not going to attract your fingerprints or greases that easily. It has rubber in places where you'd hold the camera. I wish I could say I love the grip. It has a very deep grip, so many of you might like it. I just do not like the grip because it's kind of tilted, as we go down. So I cannot rest my hand here properly. My hand kind of keep slipping off, and it actually is designed according to how you're supposed to hold the camera, but somehow I think I might be used to a grip that's more vertical, but and this might take a little used to, and then I might have become more used to this. But this only came for review, so only a few weeks. Apart from that, you have on the front, you have that APS-C sensor, you have the command dial, you have the IR blaster, and yeah, you do not have an autofocus assist lamp, though you have the flash release button, the lens release button, and the autofocus to manual focus toggle button, because this one has in-body stabilization. On top you have the shooting mode dial on the left side, and on the right side you have the LCD status monitor is what I say, and then some of the other hotkeys like ISO keys or your exposure compensation scale. You also have the power lever and then the shutter release button. Behind you have the 2.7-inch LCD. It's a non-touchscreen LCD. It's a tilting LCD. It does not exactly go 180 degree on the front, so you cannot see yourself. It's not also articulating, but you can hover the camera on top like this, or you can go to the ground level. What I do not like about this LCD is that number one, it's low res, and number two, it's smaller than the competition. Most of the buttons on the back side are on the right. That's a good thing, except the menu, but you do not need the menu button always, so that's all right. On the right side you have the loan card compartment, and I like this thing in a camera. The card compartment should be separate from the battery compartment. It's easier to operate that way. On the left side you have an external mic jack, good, but no headphone jack, and you also have the HDMI mini, HDMI out, micro HDMI out actually, and a multi-interface shoe that's always useless. And you also have a DC in below, the usual tripod mount, and the battery compartment. Overall, not the most aesthetically pleasant body, but still a good body nonetheless, considering an entry-level premium segment. Now, when I say the LCD monitor is low res, you will know the moment you hit the menu button and check out the menu. The menu is laid out almost the same way, like you have the dark background and on top of that red selection color. But if you compare this contrast or this color with let's say an Alpha 6300 or even the Alpha 7R, you would see the red color here kind of faded, and also the font pixelated. From that you know it's a low res. Do not have dedicated video menu. Has lots of sub menu. The main menu are 4. You have a shooting menu, a system menu, and then a playback menu, and then I think that's the favorite. But I seriously would have liked a separate video menu, because it's supposed to be good for video as well, thanks to that wide autofocus layout, and yeah, it's good autofocus locking ability also. So things are easy to find but not fast to get into. That's what my problem is. But overall the button layouts are quite fine. The FN button will quickly give you access to the quick functions that you can toggle. Just go and select it and then press the button in the middle of the joystick, and then you can select your desired function and then come back, press that again and come back. You also have the playback button, and you have different menu items, different actions there as well. Overall the UI is nothing much to write home about, because it's the same like other Sony cameras, other Sony mirrorless and DSLR cameras. I just wish the LCD was slightly high res though.
Now talking about some performance, the autofocus system is generally spot on with the 79 point covering a good area of the sensor. Sony claims a 5 FPS in continuous high mode burst. We got about 4 FPS, but only for 2 minutes during each of our 3 trials, which means we got 8 raw frames before the camera slowed down and refused to click for a couple of seconds. Then it starts, but at a much slower rate. Overall, in our 3 trials, we got respectively 19, 15 and 11 frames in 30 seconds of continuous high drive mode. We kept the camera at manual, all manual focus, f by 8, s by 1/25 of a second, with lens kept on. Not impressive. We like the way the A68 sensor processes raw images. Under enough light, you will see good color and contrast processing in JPEG, apart from showing good amount of details. Under low light, the amount of detail reduces, but the sensor still does not overprocess the images too much. Colors are accurate and more towards natural. The monochromes also has proper contrast of light and shadows. The dynamic range is very good. We could recover almost all of the detail on our color card, down to the figures that are written on the black background. You can see it at the right top corner. The A68 shows clean images till ISO 1600. ISO 3200 shows very slight noise, which becomes significant at 6400, and then trash beyond that. So then guys, what do you think about the Sony Alpha 68? I think the high points are mainly that 79 autofocus system, the in-body stabilization. You do not get an in-body stabilization at this price range easily. plus the in general speed and performance, for example the colors, the dynamic range, the ISO performance, like those. What we do not like much is the burst rate and the buffer rate mainly, and also the body felt slight plasticky. Overall, I would say the A68 brings in some very important features of a premium mid-range camera, and it should be a great buy at this price range. If you like this video, please hit the like button, ask anything related to this, and we'll try to answer them all. And please subscribe to our channel and share this video to share the love. Thank you.